So, I wanted to talk about depression because it's something that I've dealt with my entire life, and it's something that I still battle with. And I used to always think that it was just only a chemical imbalance in my brain, and who knows, maybe there's partly some chemical imbalance. But I mean, I've tried every antidepressant out there, and all it did was make me more depressed. And maybe some of you it helps, but all it did was make me more depressed because it was like you can't really shake the really deep depression that's like the weight on your shoulders, or the world just feels fake, and the world is like every problem seems like it's yours, and you're like, what am I doing? What am I living in this life? How do I get out of this funk? And I think that partly is that you're just living a life that isn't really your life. You go to this job that you didn't really choose. Not when you were a little child, you weren't like, I want to do this construction job or this marketing director, or, be this direct business person for this company. And I think a lot of us is like, along the way we lost our path. We lost our drive, our motivation to be something that we really wanted to. When we were kids, we weren't like, Mommy, I want to be the marketing director for Amazon, or I want to drive Amazon trucks, or FedEx. I want to be a postal service guy. Like it, and it's not nothing bad about that, because sometimes we have to do what we have to do to live. But I think along the way, it's like society kept jamming it down our throat that, like, no, those dreams of you trying to do that thing is not going to work, whatever it is. And it's funny how when we're children, we want to be something that are like very creative, and they're just like the coolest dreams ever, right? As you see a child, they're like, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a president, I want to be a motivational speaker, I want to be an artist, I want to be a singer. And it's like, then when you get older, it's like, where did that change? Because you didn't change it. You weren't like, now all of a sudden I want to be an Amazon truck driver. No, it was society saying, no, you can't do that. And then you have other people saying, no, you can't do that. And it's funny is because when you start to want to do, like, live your life in your flame, which is why I created this, live life in your flame. And it's basically what's true to you, what's authentic to you, what's in your heart and your soul, what you were put on this planet to do. Because I think every single person was put on this planet with their own set of skills, where every single person is different. Everyone is maybe bad at this thing, but they're good at this. It's like maybe Michael Jordan was good at basketball, but then he tried to play baseball and he kind of sucked. Like, and some people are good at a lot of things, but they're not going to be good at everything, because you put a lot of your work towards one thing, you're going to be bad at the other. So it's like, but we along the way, someone told us, no, that's not possible. And then maybe you just kept trying. You're like, no, I don't. I still believe in what I want to do. And those are the people that become successful. Those are the people that are actors and singers and whatever. All these creative jobs, even astronauts. It's like these an astronaut. I mean, he was saying he wanted to be an astronaut when he was little, and he made it. So what made it different? Like, he wasn't just geared towards being an astronaut. He just didn't listen to people telling him, no, that was just because you were young. You were just young and stupid. No. And everyone along the way told him, no, you can't do that. That's not going to work. And it's funny is that the people that are going to tell you, like, hey, that's not going to work, those people are listening to other people telling them that their dreams aren't going to work. So it's just like it's all being passed down. And I had the story about this friend who told me when I was starting a business, my first business, he called me and he said, I'm worried about you. I'm so worried about you. And I was like, what? I was like, what? Why are you worried about me? And I wasn't doing drugs or anything at that moment. I was just starting a business, working like no sleep, just working every day. It was right when the internet came out, and I was like doing like SEO and what it was like. No one even knew what Amazon was at that point. And so he called me and he said, you have to work for someone for 20 years before you start a business, and then you can start a business. I was like, who wrote the rule book on that? Like, is life not allow you to do that? But someone told him along the way that that's the only way it works. And so he had to tell me. So when I started doing it, it started making him feel uncomfortable. So instead of me being doing it, it was like it would be more comfortable for him if I just stopped, because he really wanted to do a business, but someone told him like, no, you can't do that. So depression partly is we're we're living lives that we were told to live, and we just gave in. And we're like, well, I guess they know more than me. I guess they're right. Like this, for some reason, who created this thing that we have to go to school for this many years and these subjects. And it's funny, is all the subjects that we learn don't freaking mean anything. Like, why aren't we have like accounting classes? I didn't even know how to do any accounting, like, at all. I had no idea how to do a budget. No one taught me how to do a budget. They were teaching me the Pythagorean theorem, and I remember I got an F in that in I don't even know, it was geometry. And it was me and a friend of mine. We had to do a group project, and we're like, we don't even know what the heck this even is. And we're like, we're gonna get an F anyway. So the guy was like such a bad teacher. And he liked skiing, so we took a picture and we put it his picture and put it on like a guy skiing down the hill, and he was like kissing some other guy. And nothing against gay guys, I love gay people, but it was just like, we just did it just to piss him off any way we could, because we're like, dude, we're not gonna, we don't know what the heck this is. And then we got sent to the principal, and my mom's like, it was very creative, wasn't it? Like, and my mom's a principal, so she knows. And she's like, wasn't it creative? And like, you should give him at least a D for being creative. And it was, we just knew, like, we're not going to use this. And if, like, a lot of kids, I think, they're going through life, they're like, I'm not going to use this stuff. But then there's a lot of kids that are like, well, I'll just follow along because people told me that Pythagorean theorem is, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, whatever that word is. And it's like all these stupid things with math is like, no, teach me how to budget. Teach me how to something with like real estate or buying a home, or I have no idea how to buy a car, getting a loan, paying it back, like interest rates. Like, what about all those things? Like, those things should be so much more, those are so much more valuable that I would be able to use, instead of learning, like, well, I don't even know, like, whatever other classes, like volcanoes erupting and stuff. Like, those are cool and stuff, but unless I'm going to be an archaeologist, I don't, or whatever, geologist, I don't need to learn that. And then, like, we should be able to choose classes that interest us, because then maybe we would be able to find what we really want to do in life. And I was writing in part of my book, and I was thinking, like, you have career counselors, right? And how many hours did you spend with your career counselor? Maybe 2 hours, like, overall. I remember, I think I met with my career counselor 3 times for like 15 minutes. She's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I've been teaching, they've been teaching me Pythagorean theorems and freaking I don't know, all this other math stuff, and all these other dumb classes that didn't mean anything. And when you're a little kid, the classes are like necessary, right? Learning the ABCs and all those things, and even like learning another language. Like, if you go to other countries, learning another language, I would love to have learned Spanish better more. I mean, be fluent in Spanish, that would be freaking amazing. I can go to other countries, learn. If I knew, if spend time on Spanish and French or Brazilian, like, or Portuguese, those would be awesome. I think that would help your brain because if you see people that have learned languages, and they know they're fluent in other languages, they can pick up other languages much faster. And I think it helps their brain even in other ways, because that's a freaking if you try to learn a language, I've tried to learn Spanish and Portuguese, it's freaking hard, man, especially when you've never learned it and you're trying to learn it when you're like over 30 years old. But no one told me in career counseling, it was like, here's 15 minutes, you get 15 minutes three times, and that's it. And it's like, no, there should be a whole class about career counseling, Like, why not be that? Should be the main focus. That should be 3 year, all years. You should have a whole class for every, like, half of the classes should be about career counseling, not about math and this other crap. So but the thing is they don't want people to be living in their dreams. They've designed school to be a basically just a sheep herding machine to get you prepared for just listening to whoever's in charge, listening to the police, listening to your government, listening to your whoever is the person on the news, because then the who questions the news, right? They're always right. And it's like so many, you could, if you see the news, it's like they all have an agenda. Everything has an agenda. You watch one news, the right, they have an agenda. You watch the left, they have an agenda. It's not like they're giving you just unfiltered, unbiased information. And you see, and I just see people watching the news, and I'm like, God, that's just like such garbage, because you know that they're trying to like sell you on something, and they're showing you such bits and pieces of stuff, like what they decide to show you is what you are taking in. And so they're not showing you one thing, but they're going to show you, if they only show you this, all this stuff, you're going to believe the world is all this. And when you see like people like Free Palestine and all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's good and all, but there's like so many other countries that are getting bombed and all this other. I don't see you doing that. And what happened to Black Lives Matter? That was cool for a moment, and then now all of a sudden it's going against Black Lives Matter. And then people that are like, well, Black Lives Matter is like, imagine if you're like holding a sign right now and saying Black Lives Matter, people are like, that's not cool anymore, right? And you're like, what? Because it's just all, it's just everything is focused on just being, not taking away your individuality. So whatever makes you, your authenticness, your genuineness, your whatever is your flame inside you, your soul, and just making you like everybody else. And so when we go through that and we just keep being like everyone else, we lose our our soul. We lose in touch with our soul. And so we don't even know what we want to do in life. And I think after years of doing that, we become depressed because we're like, I remember when I wanted to be something when I was younger, and I'm not doing it. And but you might not even be even in that touch with that. You may just be like, and I did it for so many years. I'm like so depressed, and I don't know why. And I'm just depressed because I was like, one, I'm comparing myself to the people that have the marketing jobs, and they doing, they got their masters, and then they have a home, and they have this cushy job, and I'm comparing my life to them because my life is like, I've been going the path of the unknown, and the path of the unknown is very, very hard. So it's like, I don't know, go left, go right, go straight, turn around, I don't know. I just keep going whatever life just shows me. And the struggle here, I hit a wall here, one door opens, the other one closes. So, and when you go that route, it's like you're constantly trying to figure yourself out. And I think that's the only way you find yourself is by doing that, which many people for many years don't do that. So then they're like, I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I want to do. I don't even know what I like. And then when you get, if you're like 50 and you're like, man, I'm already, sorry, too late. And it's not too late, but it's like, where do I begin? I don't even know, like, well, first of all, you get soul. That's what soul searching is. Soul searching is basically you going after whatever you think in your heart is what's going to make you happy. And then you realize maybe that didn't make me happy. I thought it was just making money. I thought just having a business would make me happy. Well, I did that, and that didn't make me happy. So I had to go back to a drawing board. I kept trying businesses. Then I realized it was like that. That's not what was going to make me happy. It was me being a motivational speaker. That's what I always wanted to do. But I lost touch with that because people told me I wasn't good enough. I told myself I wasn't good enough. I told myself that I'm shy. I'm introverted. So why would I want to be on stage talking to people? Well, that's just a thought. That's just an illusion that we created. I created my mind. But once I started soul searching and going after stuff, and I started a YouTube channel, and the first 200 videos no one watched. So then I thought, okay, well, it's not going to work. Well, maybe it takes time, man. Patience is the key. You have to work at something, at your craft, to get good at it. Some of these, I think there was a study, it was like 6 years or 7 years, and like I don't know, some certain amount of hours before you become an expert. And so it's like, if you try something for 6 months and it doesn't work, and it's like getting a six pack in 6 months and it doesn't work, you just go back to eating cake, and a lot of people do. So, but we're living this life, this illusion of who we don't even know who we are, and we think we do. That's the thing. We think, okay, money, that all this stuff they're telling me is gonna make me happy. Well, I'm telling you, I did get that for a moment, and my Amazon business took off, and I was like, oh, I'm making $100,000 a month, and I'm gonna be happy. And then I was miserable. I was more depressed, because then I realized I'm living completely not what I want, like not even living in my soul, my dreams. And money is, I thought, was going to make me happy, and it definitely didn't. So it was like this, I've been trying to go after something that is basically not, it was not the right thing. But this, you have to understand, is that I went after it and I realized that that wasn't what I wanted to do. And so a lot of times we have to go after things and fail by even getting it, and realizing that, okay, I didn't want to do that. I thought I wanted to be a personal trainer because I like working out, and someone mentioned, oh, you should be a personal trainer. I was like, all right, well, I don't know what else to do. I spent a whole year learning all this stupid tendons and all this shit, and then I trained one person, and I was like, I never want to train a person again. One person, and it took me a whole year. And the books for personal training was like 5 books, like 2,000 pages, and doing all that. And then I was like, one person. That's all it took. But I learned I never want to be a personal trainer. So you have to keep going, and then you learn by maybe doing it, and you learn by failure, and then you're like, what did I really want to do when I was young? I wanted to be a motivational speaker. I wanted to connect with people. And I just had this feeling when I was 6, and then when I was 23, I had the same thing. I wanted to be on stage. And it wasn't me just wanting it. It was like a feeling. And it was like just like this feeling that was what I should do. So that's when I got connected to that. And then when I almost died in Costa Rica, it was like, well, you better go after it because you're getting older. You ain't getting younger. So then I realized, it was like, all the times that I did stuff that I loved, like when I was surfing, when I was playing baseball, and going after, like, trying to be the best at baseball and stuff, things that I loved, I wasn't depressed. I was only depressed when I was doing things living this lie, trying to be this person I wasn't. And society keeps telling us to be these people that, like, we're all just gonna be going through school and then go to college, and this is the life you're supposed to live. And it's like, we're all individuals, and all, like, everyone likes football and everyone likes sports, and like, why do, it's just so weird. It's like, no, we are all so different. We should all be doing something so different, because we all have different skills and different motivations and whatever. But the thing is they don't show us that. Life doesn't show us that. School doesn't show us that. I mean, life shows us that, but only if you are searching for it. If you're not searching for it, it's not going to show you. And life will show you it only through struggles and failures and setbacks and things like that. And you have to be able to be resilient, to be like, okay, well, what is this? What else is it showing me? So depression is the deep rest Jim Carrey talked about. It's like you're tired, your body, your soul is tired of living this lie. And it's like, hey, it's trying to tell you, go out there and do what you really want to do in life. And do, because we don't have we think can live forever. That's the thing. And when you realize, like, we don't think about death, and I don't know anyone that thinks about it. I do. I think about it all the time, because it always puts me in a place of like, okay, today I could die, and I better do what I want to do. I better work at what I want to do. Especially when you know what you want to do, you're like, I'm going to keep doing what I want to do, because death is always around the corner. So depression could be, and I don't want to, like, I've dealt with it my whole life. Some of it's chemical imbalance, it could be. Some of it's traumas, obviously. My dad was a piece of shit, and he used to yell and scream at me and manipulate me. So, of course, that caused depression. But for me, the remedy was working at my craft, working at stuff that made me, like, that I loved. And that, the passion was what made me not depressed. So, think about when you were depressed and think about when you weren't depressed. And I'm not talking about being sad because your girlfriend broke up. I'm talking about that depression of, like, you're just tired. You're tired of living, you know what? And I'm just like, I don't want to kill myself, but I'm just like, I don't really care to live anymore. Like, if a train just came and hit me right now, and I'd just be like, whatever. I mean, I've been that point so many times, so I know what it feels like. So think about it. Like, when were you happy? When were you so, like, if you felt like life is okay, life is fine. And when you're depressed and you see everything just looks like shit, like, you know, like the trees, and you could be at the most beautiful place in the world, and you're like, just don't see it. It's just because you're living a lie. And when you start living the dream that you always want to do, you start feeling good about yourself because you're like, I'm living something that feels good for me. So I don't know. Think about those times that you felt not depressed, and let me know what you think. Because I think that part of it, and Jim Carrey said it, is that we're tired of living the lie of who we think we are, and we don't even know sometimes. So let me know in the comments if you watch the video. If you don't, I don't care. Either way, see you in the next video. This is Dan with Live Life in Your Flame, or I won't see you in the next video. Who cares? I don't know. So, anyways, I'll see you guys later.